Thanks for stopping by the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into the real of reality TV.
Talk to me nice, talk to me honestly. Look in my eyes, don't let it fall on me. Say you're a good guy, make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it, I wanna see it. See how rewind, when we rewind, feels so nice.
All right, listen. Carlos King, he just cannot stay away from the Housewives, right? It's like, I'm wondering, and we don't know how much longer this franchise is even going to last. I have my thoughts on it. I already shared my thoughts on that before. But until that happens, I'm wondering if at some point, will they put a clause in these ladies' contracts saying you are not allowed to go onto the Carlos King podcast to discuss anything Housewives related, because we're sick and tired of him talking about us and he really needs to be doing his own thing, because isn't he a producer of his own shows? But I digress. And I'm wondering if Monique Samuels will give him the pleasure of interviewing him after she bounced on him after the first season of Love and Marriage DC. And she said that he did her dirtier than the white people did. And she's returned to the white people, quote unquote. Well, no quote, but that's exactly what she did. But I digress. Angela Oakley, she was recently on the Carlos King podcast. And Phaedra said some things about her, which I don't like. Angela is a beautiful woman, first and foremost. I like her. Ain't nobody on these shows perfect, okay? So I'm not here for all of the nitpicky critiques that people have for just because someone is new. They're trying to find an issue, trying to find something. But Phaedra talking about the woman and the way she looks compared to her age, Angela is a beautiful woman. I don't care if she is younger or older, whatever age she is, she's beautiful, okay? Cannot take that away from her. So Phaedra coming on the show, she started throwing shade immediately because she was talking about how she's known Charles for years, but she never knew that he was married. Well, if you didn't catch what she said she had known Charles for whatever the period of time was, but the period of time that she had known Charles, it wasn't during the time that he was married. Okay? So she was making it seem like he had known her, meaning Charles knew Phaedra all these years, but never mentioned his wife to her. And also trying to make it seem like it's something like, not, she wasn't saying that there was anything romantic going on. She wasn't alluding to that, but she was just making it seem like, oh yeah, Charles, he's cool. He's a homie. He's this, he's that, he's the other. But I never even knew he was married. Girl, stop it. I don't like stuff like that. I caught that before when she first came on and she was having her little sit down with her so-called freak. Like, this is ridiculous. These fake friendships, Phaedra talking about she and Portia are so tight and they're freaking frack. But yet, when Portia came over to her house to film for that first scene and she came back, Portia had never even been at that house. So how good of a friend are you to her? Or she is to you? But whatever. But they were sitting around and she's talking about all the different people as Portia brings them up. And maybe that was her call of duty. Maybe that's what it was. And now I'm feeling like maybe it was her call of duty to stir some mess up when it comes to Angela and her husband Charles's marriage and relationship, because we know they do stuff like that on these shows. And even though it's called The Real Housewives, it's to the point now where it's like, don't be on the show if you're in a good relationship and a good marriage, because the ultimate goal is for you to go through a divorce so they can get those scenes, get that drama from you, film it for the show, and play out your life on TV. It's just not worth it. But I digress. I feel like Angela can hold her own. And so she sat down with Carlos recently and she talked about it. So I'm going to share my screen and let's hear what she had to say with regards to Miss Phaedra Parks, or as some people have called her, Phony Faye. My feelings are mixed when it comes to Phaedra. I don't hate her, but she definitely, has some likable things about her, but some things it's just like it's not cool. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Do because everything made sense. Like your sister went to high school with her brother. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you come in this room and you don't know anybody here, but ironically, your sister went to high school with Phaedra's brother. You know, I'm like, okay. So it was like, Angela, I told you the truth. And he did.
How did you feel about that once that was all discovered?
I was disappointed because I was told, get to know Phaedra. She's coming back, get to know her. And I kind of looked to her for information. Like, tell me how this works. I'm new to reality TV. Tell me the inroads. Tell me the inside out. And, she was the source of information. So for that to happen, I was just like, yeah, it was a breach of trust. And, I didn't appreciate that at all. And it's like, what? The truth is so much better than fiction. Like, why do you have to lie on my husband? Like, let's just talk about the things that we've been through. And when me and Charles took this show, we were like, we're going to talk about everything we've been through. All of it. Because we didn't want to be ambushed with anything. So let's let the world know. And for her to create a lie, it was just, it was devious.
We just saw this recent episode that, there's this rumor that Charles is still cheating on you. Mm-hmm. And that comes out. Mm-hmm. And you and Phaedra have a back and forth about it. Do you believe Phaedra started this rumor that Charles is still cheating on you?
Absolutely, 100%.
So, yeah, the thing about it is, it's kind of ironic because the rumors were that Carlos and Phaedra actually were in on the Candy sex dungeon rumor, that Phaedra and Portia were in on, but Portia was just the bigger mouth about the situation and threw Phaedra under the bus. I stand on it to this day that both Phaedra and Portia should have been dismissed from the show. Phaedra, she, allowed, honestly, Portia to throw her under the bus instead of just saying, look, we were in on this together. She should have just been honest, but I guess being 100% honest is not one of Phaedra's fortes. So she allowed Portia to throw her under the bus. So, yeah, the rumor was that Carlos had something to do with that with Phaedra. And that is one of the reasons why Candy had issue with Carlos. One of the reasons, not the only reason. That's a rumor. I don't know if that's true, but that is something that had been talked about for years. So with this situation, Phaedra just coming back to the show, getting an opportunity to get her feet wet back in the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise, returning as a friend of, and now she's doing the rounds and saying, oh, she's definitely coming back for season 17. I'm assuming being a peach holder this time. Is this a good way to come back? Especially when she left Married to Medicine, and I was kind of on her side when it came to that with those ladies over there, because they are mean. They are a lot of the things that Phaedra said. So that just goes to show you that multiple things can be true at the same time and multiple things can be false. So the Married to Medicine ladies were mean, and she absolutely had a right to be out the way that she did because it was her prerogative, her choice. And yeah, they don't like to let new people come in on that show. They don't. And they were messy with how they handled the Phaedra and Apollo and his new wife, now soon to be new ex-wife situation. They were messy with that over there. But with this situation and Angela talking about Phaedra was in on the lie, spreading this rumor about how Charles is cheating on her, it's like, did production have something to do with that? Were they involved? Because they haven't shown the scene of that, like that episode, I should say, has not been shown yet, but they have shown clips. And in order for somebody to not have been in on it, they wouldn't have a mic. They wouldn't be mic'd up. So they knew what was going on. To me, it sounds like production was definitely involved with it. I'm not saying that production came up with the scandal and the scheme, But again, it goes back to the Kenya in the salon exposing allegedly Britt Eady on these poster boards. Production was in on it and they allowed it to play out completely. And that's why I said I may not be a fan of Britt and I don't think she's a good fit for the show. And great, don't bring her back. But that doesn't mean that she does not have a case. And I do believe she's going to get a payout. Don't know how much it's going to be, when, how long this is going to draw out. But I feel like they just need to go ahead, pay the money, and count their losses with that and move forward, because the way they handled that was absolute trash. And I do believe that production was in on it. But no, that's not cool. I don't like to see stuff like that, especially. And that's the thing, when they say people who are miserable, they love to be in company with other miserable people, or they want to make other people miserable. Because if you're happily in a relationship or married, you don't have time to do stuff like that. You really don't. You don't even want your energy to be involved in stuff like that. So I'm 100% on Angela's side. I agree with her. I believe her. And I also do believe that production was in on the situation. But I don't know. It's just my opinion. I want to know what yours is. So you let me know your thoughts in the comments. But just to let you know what some people had to say about that situation in the comment section, somebody said Faye didn't learn a damn thing. Somebody else said Phaedra's back to her old tricks. Who didn't see this coming a mile away? And another person said, Angela's beautiful. These women hate to see an actual wife on the show. All marriages have ended on the show. Shamia, you're next. They are just some haters. Woo. Well, we shall see, y'all. But anyway, you all let me know what you think.
Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.